I'll never forget the night I first stumbled on the 13th step in my new apartment. It wasn't there that morning. As I stood frozen in the dim light, I felt a whisper rise from below, sending a chill down my spine. When I first moved into my new apartment, everything seemed normal. Well, as normal as an old building with creaky floors and thin walls can be. The location was great, the rent was affordable, and the vintage charm was something I could live with. The staircase leading up to my unit on the second floor had 12 steps, just like the blueprint showed. I counted them myself on move-in day, lugging my boxes up one by one. But then, one night, about a week after I'd settled in, something strange happened. I was coming home late from work, my arms full of groceries, and as I climbed the stairs, my foot suddenly caught on something. I nearly dropped everything, my heart pounding as I steadied myself. I looked down, expecting to see a loose floorboard, or maybe a forgotten toy from one of the neighbor's kids. Instead, I saw a 13th step. I stood there, my breath catching in my throat. I counted them again. 1, 2, 3, 13. It was undeniable. But that wasn't possible. The blueprint clearly showed 12 steps, and every time I'd climbed them during the day, there had only been 12. I shook my head, telling myself I must be imagining things. Maybe I was just tired. Maybe the dim lighting was playing tricks on me. The next morning, I rushed back to the staircase, determined to prove to myself that I had been mistaken. I counted the steps again. 12. Just 12. I let out a shaky laugh, relief washing over me. Of course there were only 12 steps. I must have been seeing things. But that night, as I climbed the stairs again, there it was, the 13th step. It wasn't like the others. It was darker, older, with deep scratches marring its surface. My heart pounded in my chest as I hesitated, my foot hovering above it. I don't know what compelled me to step on it, but I did. The moment my foot touched the wood, I heard it. A whisper, so faint I almost thought I imagined it. "Now you're closer," it said. I froze, my blood turning to ice. I looked around, but there was no one there. The hallway was empty, the only sound the distant hum of the city outside. I ran to my apartment, my hands shaking as I fumbled with the keys. I locked the door behind me, leaning against it as I tried to catch my breath. I told myself it was just my imagination, that the stress of moving and the long hours at work were getting to me. But deep down, I knew it was real. The next few nights, I avoided the staircase altogether, taking the elevator instead, but I couldn't avoid it forever. One evening, the elevator was out of order and I had no choice but to take the stairs. As I climbed, my heart pounded with dread, and there it was, the 13th step, waiting for me. I hesitated, my foot hovering above it. I didn't want to step on it, but I couldn't bring myself to skip it either. It was as if some unseen force was compelling me forward. I took a deep breath and stepped on it. "Now you're closer," the whisper came again, louder this time. I felt a cold chill run down my spine, and for a moment, I thought I saw something move in the shadows below. I ran the rest of the way up the stairs, my heart pounding in my ears. I knew I had to do something. I couldn't keep living like this, terrified of my own staircase. The next day, I went to the building manager's office. I told him about the 13th step, about the whisper, about the fear that had taken hold of me. He looked at me like I was crazy, but he agreed to come up and take a look.
We climbed the stairs together, and of course there were only 12 steps. The manager patted me on the shoulder, telling me I must be imagining things, but I knew the truth. The 13th step was real, and it only appeared at night. That night, I set up a camera on the staircase, determined to capture proof of the 13th step. I watched the footage the next morning, my heart pounding with anticipation, and there it was, clear as day, the 13th step appearing as the lights dimmed and the whisper echoing through the hallway. I took the footage to the building manager, but he still didn't believe me. He told me I must have tampered with the recording, that I was trying to cause trouble. I felt helpless, trapped in a nightmare I couldn't escape. Desperate, I turned to the internet, searching for answers. I found stories of other people who had experienced similar phenomena, ghostly steps appearing and disappearing, whispers in the dark. Some said it was a sign of a restless spirit. Others believed it was a portal to another world. I didn't know what to believe, but I knew I had to find a way to make it stop. I decided to confront the 13th step, to face my fear head on. That night, I climbed the stairs, my heart pounding in my chest. I stepped on the 13th step, my voice shaking as I spoke. "What do you want?" I asked. The whisper came again, louder this time. "Now you're closer," it said. And then, for the first time, I saw it. A shadowy figure standing at the bottom of the stairs, its eyes fixed on me. I felt a cold chill run through me, and I knew I had to get out of there. I ran to my apartment, locking the door behind me. I spent the night in a state of terror, my mind racing with fear. The next morning, I called a priest, begging him to come and bless my apartment. He listened to my story, his expression grave as he agreed to help. The priest performed a blessing, sprinkling holy water on the staircase and reciting prayers. For a while, it seemed to work. The 13th step didn't appear for several nights, and I began to hope that it was over. But then, one night, it came back. The 13th step was there, darker and more menacing than ever. And this time, the whisper was clearer, more insistent. "Now you're closer," it said. "Almost there." I knew I couldn't stay in the apartment any longer. I packed my things and moved out, leaving behind the nightmare that had haunted me for weeks. But even now, months later, I still hear the whisper in my dreams. "Now you're closer," it says, and I wake up in a cold sweat, terrified that it's not over, that the 13th step is still out there, waiting for me.
If it gave you chills, hit that like button, subscribe so you don't get lost between worlds, and write in the comments. Are you sure you woke up in your own world? See you in the next story.